When you take a look at the Bears, are the Bears more of a team in transition on their way to being good, or are they a playoff team? And so we'll open up and ask you that question because my thought was, hey, you had 5 wins last year. 9 wins may not get you the playoffs, but that definitely is an improvement from last year if you think that the Bears are 9-8 versus a Nagy-like push in year one, like, oh, my God, fireworks in the sky, everything works well sonically, and you're a double-digit winner. So from this roster standpoint, where are the Bears?
I don't think they're a playoff team. I've been adamant about my expectation is they not only should they win 9 games, they need to win 9 games. Like, I'm done with this rebuild.
Yeah, it's time to win football games.
Yeah. Now, with that said, Cap, I still believe they're in transition because they don't have enough true difference-making players, or those guys haven't developed into that just yet. Could I see 10 weeks into this, that there are a number of guys, whether it's Colston Loveland or Luther Burden or Roma Dunze, or guys that vault themselves into that like next tier? Yeah, I could see some of that happening, no doubt. But right now, they don't have enough difference-making players for me to look at them and say that's a playoff team. But we've talked about this ad nauseum. They've invested so much in the offense, whether it was the $13 million a year for the perfect guy for the job in Ben Johnson. They used the first pick of the draft on Caleb. They spend $50, $60, $70, $80 million helping the interior of the offensive line. There's more weapons in the huddle. Like, I don't want to hear this is going to be a slow burn. It's going to take a ton of time. Yeah, they'll be a better team offensively in week 6 or 7 than they are in week 1, but like, you've been after this, guys, for a long time. Like, Ben was hired in January, okay? Caleb's been on the team. Okay, I have some tolerance for, some mistakes and that it will look better later in the season than now, but I don't expect it to look like crap on Monday night, guys. I just don't. And I may be in the minority there with that thought. Just think that
I'm with you.
This concept of, it's going to be hard. And yeah, football's hard, guys. The guy across the way, and Brian Flores is the most aggressive defensive coordinator in the league, blitzed more than anyone last year. Caleb was blitzed more than any other individual quarterback in the league. He's going to bring the pressure, but he's not going to fool Ben with his scheme. Ben's, schemed against him 4 times now in the last 2 years. And in those games, I get it. He had a more established offense at the time. They averaged almost 400 yards and 30 points per game against the Vikings. So, I don't think it's going to be a masterpiece Monday night, but I don't think it's going to be, crap on a stick. It shouldn't be.
Waddle Wednesday brought to you by Window Works. The company your neighbors trust.
Amen.
That's right, folks. Window Works. Cap?
I fully expect. This guy's so entertaining.
What do you mean? I'm reading the read. What's the matter?
You exaggerated. I fully expect them to win on Monday.
You guys are a show in transition. I don't know if you're playoff ready at 6, starting at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Wow.
I'm joking.
Boy, that's fair.
I mean, yeah, I was late. Hoodie tore up a read yesterday. Now we got Cap getting lost.
I fully expect them to win on Monday, Tom.
I do too.
I will be very disappointed if they lose that game.
I'm with you, and I get it. Maybe I'm an idiot. Okay, I am an idiot, but they're a 1.5 underdog. You're at home. The crowd. Tom Thayer does a great job, describing how important the crowd is, especially for this young offense that's learning a new system. You don't want to be at U.S. Bank Stadium in Minneapolis to open the season on a Monday night with that as the backdrop. But with the home crowd, you can control all that. So all of the the procedural stuff that has been an issue, you can't have any of the silly procedural penalties. You got to run a clean operation because you're at home. No delay of game penalties. You got to be on your P's and Q's, as they say. So, look, I think J.J. McCarthy's got a chance to be a really good quarterback in this league. I don't think the Vikings draft him, and I don't think Kevin O'Connell, rolls with him if he doesn't believe in him. He's going to make his first start in the NFL on Monday night in front of a crowd that he used to be part of going to Bears games. So there's going to be some tension there. They're not going to have all of their weapons. So I'm with you, Cap. I mean, you call me a homer if you want. I'm not hoping the Bears win. I'm expecting them to win this game. I'm expecting them, Jonathan, to win half of their division games. And it's much easier to win your division games at home than it is on the road. So this is one of those games that I think that they should win, and I'm expecting them to win.
This might be a difficult question, Tommy, but I'll ask anyway regarding Braxton Jones. I mean, it was the worst kept secret in Chicago. You knew he was going to start at left tackle for the Minnesota game. Do you think that this coaching staff, this current coaching staff, sees something different in Braxton Jones that the previous coaching staff didn't see? Like, yeah, maybe it's just a different set of eyes, and they see Braxton Jones, they go, oh, we could do better than that. But then in the Eberflus regime, they thought, he's exactly what we need.
I think they see a guy, Jonathan, honestly, that they're concerned that he's not 100%. That's what I think they see. I said to you guys a couple of weeks ago, look, it's not the strength of their team, but he's not paid to be the strength of their team. Like, he was a 5th-round pick, and he's still on his rookie contract. If you wanted to truly address the position, you could have tried to make a trade, or you could have drafted a left tackle who was used to playing left tackle. I said this on the show yesterday. Look, with all due respect to everyone up at Hallis Hall, if this situation is a surprise to you, then you didn't do your homework. You had access to Braxton Jones. You knew that the ankle, had a severe injury and was surgically repaired. So you should have known he may not be 100%. Ozzie Trapillo didn't fare well as a left tackle at Boston College. He fared very well as a right tackle. So he's more equipped to play right. The kid Theo Benedict, is played in Canada as a collegiate player, and not many people knew anything about him. And Amagaji was quickly erased from the competition. So, like, if you're in a quandary now, or you're surprised that you are where you are, I mean, that would surprise me because you had access to all of these guys. But with all of that said, I think that, Jonathan, that they think that as the season goes on, I think at least that's what the message was, that maybe it'll get better. I don't know. Like, the offseason is the time where you get stronger and you work on your lower body strength. And I don't know that you can do a ton of that during the season, but I think they'll do the best they can. They'll chip with Tooney. Having Tooney next to him will help. They'll probably play the tight end over there. The back will chip on the way out. I trust that Ben will try to neutralize that issue as much as he can with play calling and just being creative. But at the end of the day, that's a really important position. And I don't know what they think, to be honest with you. I know they're not 100% sold on what they have because, they're more than willing to tell you that in so many ways that it's a bit of an issue.
Tommy, do you think that when they drafted Ozzie Trapillo, it was not necessarily to be able to make the transition to left tackle? It was because, A, they liked him as a player, obviously, but B, they're not convinced Darnell Wright's a $20 million a year right tackle. That's around the corner. And so why not develop this kid and see if he could slide in and take that job? Or do you think they're all in on Darnell and they're going to pay him probably after next season?
Boy, I can't sit here and tell you I know for sure what they're thinking. My thought is that they're planning on Darnell taking another step forward, becoming the player that they hoped he would be with the 10th overall pick 3 years ago, and that at some point they are going to have to pay him. If they were drafting his replacement 3 years in or 2 years in, then, oh my goodness, we have some issues. I think Darnell's going to be fine. I think he got the kick in the can that he needed from Dan Rochar, hopefully. But I don't know how you guys feel. And look, it's tall timber to be mentioned in the same conversation with Lane Johnson and Penei Sewell and some of the other really good right tackles in the National Football League. But if you don't have a guy who's on the doorstep of making a Pro Bowl as the 10th overall pick in his third year, then did you get what you were expecting, or did you develop him correctly? You guys tell me.
If he's not contending to go to the Pro Bowl on a team that wins 9 or 10 football games, that's a failed pick for me.
Yeah, or you didn't get enough out of him. So
yeah,
I don't know what their plan is. I got to be honest, and I think we'll learn, guys, as the season goes on, what Ben's all about. I trust him, but I don't ignore that the situation at left tackle just. It seems to me, guys, I don't know how you feel, but it seemed obvious from, my dumbass perspective over here at home that, look, if you wanted a left tackle, draft one. Josh Simmons completely put the tape on of the Bears Chiefs preseason game.
He looked great.
Completely controlled Adengbo. Completely. Like Adengbo was not a factor. I think the kid in New Orleans they're talking about is their best offensive lineman, Ursary, I think.
Yeah.
That's Houston. You're talking about
Houston, that's
Calvin
right.
Banks.
Yeah, Banks.
Is starting in New Orleans. He went one pick before Colston Loveland.
Yeah.
But Ursary was the Big Ten Offensive Lineman of the Year.
Yeah.
Albert Breer was on with us, and he said to Hoodie and I, character reasons was why he slid. Well, guess what? I don't need 53 freaking choir boys.
Yeah.
I need some animals that want to block people.
Well, how much of a problem can you be when you play every game your junior year and senior year, and you're the offensive lineman of the year in your conference, your first team Big Ten in your senior year, and your second team Big Ten as a junior? Now, I don't know what to tell you guys. I mean, everybody's background is different. Everyone comes from different arenas, and everyone has challenges. But you put the film on of that kid, and he plays. And I guess you're right, Cap. He's the kid that's in Houston now. And all you hear is, we'll find out, glowing things. But I just there was two questions, Hoodie, that lingered with me in the offseason, and I don't believe the answer is there yet. Maybe I'll be proven wrong. And that's, where's the pass rush coming on the other side of Montez Sweat, and who's really going to hold down left tackle over the course of 17 weeks? Those two questions, I think, still exist before the ball's in the air on Monday night.
True Fan Travel and ESPN Chicago are teaming up for the ultimate fan getaway to Sin City to see the Bears take on the Raiders in Las Vegas.
You get round-trip airfare, 3-night stay at Mandalay Bay, special live broadcasts and meet and greets with the full ESPN Chicago team, all-inclusive tailgate, tickets to Bears, Raiders, and more to come.
Spots are limited, so don't wait. Reserve your spot today at truefantravel.com. Back to you on the video. When it comes to the Cowboys and Eagles, the first game we're going to see tomorrow, Philly is a 7.5-point favorite on ESPN Bet. Do you like the Eagles?
I do. Yeah, I think they'll be ready to play.
I don't think they cover that number.
They may. Well, I mean, you're a Cowboy sycophant, as you have been on the show for years.
God.
Haven't you? Like, do you still have a ticket on them to win?
I do not.
The Super Bowl from 2 years ago?
I do not.
Look, I think the loss, I don't know. I'll be interested to see like the body language of that team, to be honest with you. You know how Jesse had the conversation about how when the Cubs really didn't make that big splash at the trade deadline, that you could see kind of there was a body language disappointment in the team. They were hoping for more. I think it's real. Like I'm interested to see how that team comes out and plays, without Micah Parsons. Maybe they're relieved. I don't know. I have no idea. I'm not around the Cowboys, but I would take the Eagles in that game for sure.
Let me give you
Where's that game being played?
In Philly.
In Philly, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's silly that you're playing in, Brazil the following night?
Correct. That'd be the Chiefs and Chargers.
My God.
Okay, so let me give you a stat for you guys. From 2002 to 2023, pretty large sample size, an average of how many of the 14 teams that qualify for the playoffs or that would have if you had the 14-team format from 2002 to now. What amount of those teams, on average, go to the playoffs again the next year? How many out of the 14?
I'll say 8.
I'd say 6.
I would say 4%, Cap.
7.9 of the 14 go
So
the next year. So right at what Tommy said, 8. That means there's a lot of change of teams that didn't go that surprisingly go the next year, and teams that you expect to go don't go. So Bill Barnwell put out his picks. He's got the Bear in the playoffs. He's got the Vikings dead last in the division.
Yeah, look, it is the league where you can go last to first, quickest of all, right? I mean, I think that we see that happen more frequently than any other sport. But
yes.
I don't think this team is a playoff team. Again, 9 wins, I don't think gets you into the postseason, but you never know. Nobody thought, this is my rationale, guys, for why you should have been in the Mike Parsons sweepstakes and the Trey Hendrickson sweepstakes. Nobody had the Commanders in the NFC title game. Nobody thought the Vikings were winning 14 games. For all the reasons you just mentioned and all the stats you throw at me, that's the reason why you go out and you try to make your team better. And I don't know whether or not Micah Parsons' back's going to hold up. I'm making this statement without any access to his medical records. But I just respectfully disagree with everybody who says, well, you're not a player away from winning the Super. How do you know? You don't know. And your job is to fill your team with talented, difference-making players, young ones if you can. And Michael Parsons, 25. It's not like you were giving up 2 first-round picks and a quality player and giving that guy the richest contract in NFL history for non-quarterbacks for a guy who's 31. So, you know what?
I just don't know who you had to give up. They wanted a D tackle.
I don't know, Cap, if they even had the conversation. I'm just telling you, if I'm a Packers fan, which I'm not, I'm thrilled as hell with the way that Goody is running my team.
Yeah. For the expectations, Tommy, of, this team is destined for dead last and the Bears are going to have this ascension, look what they did. Once again, the Packers are ahead of the Bears. One more time. And by the way, sweeping changes by the Bears, but one move by the Packers, checkmate. Just like that.
Look, I'm glad that the Cowboy game, it looks a little easier. When is it? In week 3? I mean, good. The Packer game got a little harder, but it doesn't guarantee, Hoodie, that they're going to get to the Super Bowl, but it makes them a better football team. It does, and that's the goal every year. And again, his age is something that I don't think you can ignore. So I don't know if the Bears are interested. I don't know if the Bears – I would hope they'd make a call. I think Ryan Poles has been very aggressive as a GM without being reckless. I resist the thought that just because you're not a Super Bowl favorite or you're in the conversation of the top 5 or 6 teams that you should eliminate yourself from trying to acquire a player that makes you obviously better in a spot where you have an obvious weakness.
Tommy, as always, we appreciate it.
I love you guys. Game week.
We love you, Tommy. Football's back. I can't believe Hoodie started it by going tomorrow night. I'm like, wait, what?
Crazy.
That's right. It's
crazy good.
It's Wednesday.
Tommy, Boston College, Michigan State. Let's get locked in, huh?
Ooh. Where's the game at?
I agree.
Where's it at?
Waddle, I agree. It's in East Lansing, by the way.
Yeah.
East Lansing.
I think they're 2 teams still trying to find their way, Hoodie. I think that's
that's that Fox Sports Chicago analyst. Yeah, there he goes with that football analysis with Kap.
Catch Tommy on March.
He's not the oldest brewery in America.
Hoodie, since you brought it up, now here's a fun fact.
See you guys.
When's the last time Michigan State outscored an opponent in the second half of a game?
I don't know.
I'll say 2021.
No, okay, don't be ridiculous. It was
week 1.
Last September against Prairie View.
Wow.
Well, that's how it works against Prairie View. That's how it works.
Brother, how many times I've done Prairie View games like Prairie View at Wisconsin? I had that game on ESPN.
Oh, yeah.
Prairie View at, I don't know, Illinois, I think I had. Yeah. Wow.